Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome back to That's That. As you can tell, we have a little bit better equipment this time. I'm going to try my best to actually use a brand new equipment, and it's a little bit more complicated to edit, but you know what? I'm going to do it just for you guys. Now, for this episode, what we're going to be covering is basically the previews and the movie Dark Phoenix that was recently released this weekend, and let me tell you, it's actually better than I thought it was. So before we get started, let's go ahead and discuss some of the previews that were actually available to watch for us when we went to watch the film. Preview of IT2. It was actually pretty good. The It movie was actually a lot better than I thought it was actually going to be when I first saw it. I saw the 80s version a long time ago and I thought it was pretty good. The new one, didn't know it was going to be just as good. As you guys can probably tell, every time that Hollywood decides to do a brand new version of something that was perhaps a classic or a hit back in the day, 70s, 80s, or even 90s, it doesn't tend to be as good. I felt it was actually pretty good. It came out to par. I actually liked it better than the old one, which I rarely ever say. But as far as the second one, I don't know. The second one looks pretty good. The previews, they have better, more experienced actors. I even noticed that Professor X, was it? Yeah, from X-Men's on there. I forgot his name. I'm sorry if I didn't. I didn't do my research. I'm lazy sometimes. But overall, It too was actually, it looks pretty good. I'm definitely gonna watch it. I usually don't watch scary movies, but that one looks interesting. I love the first one, so I'm gonna go ahead and compliment my girlfriend and accompany her to watch a scary movie. The second movie we're gonna go into is going to be the Star Wars. Now, guys, I'm gonna be honest with you. When it comes to Star Wars, it's a very special time in my life. Obviously, I wasn't alive when it came out in the 70s, but I was alive when the prequels came out, which I don't know where all the hate is coming from, but I feel that the prequels were actually pretty good. They were not bad. I mean, let's face it, Darth Maul was a pretty good villain. I've never seen people root for bad guys in certain scenarios, but they'll root for Darth Maul. As a matter of fact, they actually want Darth Maul to have his own arc, his own movie, his own adventures. I would actually watch it. I would love to see Darth Maul. Where did he come from? Where did they learn the moves? Where did the double lightsaber idea come from? Knights of the Old Republic. I understand that obviously I've covered that, you know, the old writers for not Lord of the Rings, what the hell am I talking about? Game of Thrones, you know, obviously, you know, wrapped up things pretty quickly on season 8 to move on to Knights of the Republic. I'm hoping it's going to be good. I'm hoping we're going to see some real action, but we're here to talk about Star Wars Rise of Skywalker. Now, guys, I don't understand what it is about the previews for the new Star Wars, but why do all of them start like I mean, if you see the previews to the last two, now the third one, it all starts with the light breathing. The new Star Wars, I personally did not like. I feel like the writing was just hot garbage. I felt it was lazy. No offense to anybody, but let's just face it, I do not think it was good, and a lot of people agree with me. Now, some newer generation folks think it was the best thing in the world, and let's face it, they weren't around when the prequels were on, and obviously we're not around for the magic once the ones from that were made in the 70s were made. Now, once the ones of the 70s were made, I didn't really watch those until about actually, you know what? I didn't watch those probably until 1999, 2000. I didn't watch Star Wars. I didn't know anything about Star Wars. As y'all know, I haven't told y'all yet, but I'm actually originally from Puerto Rico. And in Puerto Rico at the time, it was a different time back in the early mid-90s. We didn't have access to certain technological things that we were here. Basically, the United States was ahead of most people around the world, and we were no different. Now, don't get me wrong, we still use the same currency, but it is what it is. But getting sidetracked, back to Star Wars. I felt that this preview, I'm gonna go watch it, obviously. I feel like the effects are pretty cool, the editing's really cool, the acting is great. I have nothing against the actors. I think the actors are doing great, they've been doing great, they're recasted very well. The writing, on the other hand, was just not up to par, guys. It should have been more lightsaber action, there should have been better in depth as to how Rey got all those powers. I mean, come on, guys, in this trailer, she flips over this ship effortlessly as if she's been training her entire life for this particular moment. I'm like, come on, seriously. She's only been a Jedi. Matter of fact, she just got the powers within like one movie. That by second movie, she was already a freaking master at it. What kind of crap is that? Come on, give us a little bit more in depth, a little more element, a little bit more, how can I say this? I don't know the word, but you guys know what I'm talking about. So that's pretty much my whole thing on Star Wars. I'm probably gonna make some other videos on it as far as details, what I think what could have gone better. But I understand that, you know, when it comes to Hollywood, there's certain politics and there's certain money. But come on, you could have made just as much money if you would have just tried a little bit harder, giving us something new that we had never seen before. So I'll leave it at that. For my next one, it's gonna be Ads of Astra. Ads of Astra off of Astra. If I pronounce it wrong, I'm sorry. I'm slow. What can I say? I mean, it has Brad Pitt in it and, you know, Tommy Lee Jones. But we'll see how this goes. I mean, obviously we haven't seen Tommy Lee Jones in space since Space Cowboy, so it was actually a pretty good movie. And then of course Brad Pitt keeps doing his thing here and there when he comes out with his, you know, once a year films. But I don't know what I'm thinking about. I might watch it. I might not go to theaters for it. I might watch it when it comes to DVD. But we'll see how it goes. It looks interesting, particularly just the part where, you know, in the preview where they're telling Brad Pitt that his dad, Tommy Lee Jones, you know, went on a mission, and supposedly he's one of those scientists that's pretty much doing his own agenda, and that he was basically messing around with a classified material. So I don't know if they found something new in the periodic table that I never heard from, and they're gonna add it on there in the movie, or what kind of material this is, but it looks interesting. We'll find out how it goes. So check out the Ad Astra trailer if you want to do this as AD Astra, or however you want to pronounce it. And for my last preview that we got to see there was Ford versus Ferrari. Now, Ford versus Ferrari, it looked pretty good. It looked one of those movies that the script looked kind of boring, and the director and the editors made it more action-packed. Matt Damon stars in the movie along with Christian Bale. Matt Damon, I don't really see any special character that he's built for this one. He's just being Matt Damon. I mean, no different from the Good Will Hunting character that he played. Maybe a little bit more mature, adultish. We'll see how it goes. And of course, Christian Bale is, well, you know, of course, most of y'all know for Vice, he gained a lot of weight and lost it back, just like he's done in previous past. And this character right here, the only difference that I saw in the preview, which I don't mind, by the way, don't take this as this, oh, he's a trash performer. No, he's a great performer. He always takes his stuff very seriously. But for this one, I didn't see too much of a difference from his character that he did in the character of the fighter. Almost the same exact character from what I'm seeing here, except he has his accent from Britain, which most people somehow or some way are surprised now. But I guess I'm into the media, so I do a lot of research, so I'm not surprised. But yeah, dude, he's from Britain. And a lot of you don't realize that Christian Bale was actually discovered when he was a kid by Steven Spielberg. He was actually in a few movies growing up for Steven Spielberg, starring in them. So he's been in the industry for a while, just in case you didn't know. Alright, so guys, so that's it for the previews. Now we're moving on to what I thought about The Dark Phoenix. It was, let's just say, better than I thought it was. Actually, another movie that didn't really, I saw the previews to it, and I saw who was starting in it. I saw Sophie Turner. You see, let's put it this way. When I first saw Sophie Turner in X-Men, I thought, okay, she has a minor role. She hasn't had too many lines. You know, they're probably going to give her too much, you know, clout or too much focus on her character or her version of Jean Grey. And then, of course, Dark Phoenix came out, or I saw the previews to it. I read some articles on it, and I thought, okay, it makes sense. They're going to focus more on her type of arc. What would be the difference between, you know, the storyline that we're used to seeing from the 2006 version of The Last Stand to what we are seeing now? I thought, okay, we'll see how she goes. I mean, I'm a big fan of her in Game of Thrones, Sansa Stark. I pronounce that like crap most of the time. So I think you should watch it. I don't think you should listen to Rotten Tomato and these other critics that are kind of being a little bit too brutally honest about the movie. I thought it was good. Honestly, I liked it just as much as Captain Marvel. Actually, I probably liked it a little better than Captain Marvel. I see the Me Too movement and the women movement that's been happening lately within the last, you know, couple of years and stuff like that, and I like it. You know, more diverse in Hollywood, more people of color, Hispanics just like myself are getting more opportunities now, which is good. I like that. Now, what I don't like is the fact that a lot of times they tend to be kind of lazy. Now, if you notice, a lot of these new female movies are going to come out with, you know, female protagonists and even antagonists, good versus evil, a lazy writing that I was talking about when I was talking about Star Wars. Now, because if you think about it, most of these women are getting their powers or special abilities the same exact way, with some kind of light or solar or some kind of accident that reflecting some kind of light. It's almost as if there's no depth, there's no creativity, there's no magic, no process of how exactly they're not only getting these powers, but how are they developing them? How are they able to learn how to use them? You know what I mean? I get that it's being rushed. I get a movie's like a movie. It's not exactly like a book. You don't have as much space. Time is money when it's a movie time. So you gotta cram all that stuff in within an hour and a half to 2 hours. Even sometimes like, you know, Avengers, 3 hours. Give my best opinion is I liked the movie. It was good. It was action packed. The CGI was good. The acting, of course, was on point. Sophie Turner did an amazing job. I hope she continues getting roles. As far as James McAvoy, who plays Professor X, and Michael Fassbender, who plays Magneto, just as good. You know, I enjoy the performance as much as I did as the previous movies that came before that. It was a very interesting take on that movie as far as the universe is, because when I finished watching it, and I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but there are certain things that happen in the movie that did not correlate or connect to what the previous movies have said. And I read an actual article, and the article basically was explained as this is a universe, a separate universe aside of what the ones we already watched at, basically saying that because Wolverine went into the past and changed the past in previous movies, that in return changed the future. And therefore, that's why we are watching what we're watching now, and a little bit confused or bewildered at the fact that, hey, that doesn't make sense, because if this person dies here, then how are they in this movie? Or if this person does this in this movie, then why are they doing this in this other movie? Well, it makes sense now because it's a whole different universe. You know, once you go into the past or in the future, or mostly the past, you change something, it has a trickle effect and it changes the future. And so I wanted to clear that up for some of you guys that are kind of trying to put two and two together. Some of you non-comic book fans, just like myself, that didn't really get exactly where the storyline was heading, comparing them and connecting them to the ones we see in the past. Those are a different universe. So try not to compare this to what you see in the past, because as you can see in the end of the movie, I don't want to spoil it, but there's one little scene I'm going to spoil, so skip it, but it has nothing to do with who dies or who does what. But there's a certain part in the end of the movie where Michael Fassbender and James McAvoy's character are playing chess. Now, obviously, they played chess in the previous movies when he was incarcerated or imprisoned for his wrongdoings. So I thought that was a nice treat to see, and the way it ended, it was pretty good. Now, that's all I'm going to say about the ending. You'll be surprised how it ends. Don't take that as, oh, well, they're playing chess together, that means everybody's lucky, everybody's a family again at the end of the movie. No, that's not what happened. I'm just, that little scene was actually pretty special because it kind of brought back some of the stuff that we saw in the previous movies, and just having the relationship kind of try to go back to how it was as friends. It was good. It was good. So to catch you up next time, make sure to subscribe and like the page if you like. If not, it's cool. It's cool. Keep coming by. I need a cloud. Just kidding. All right, guys, have a good one, and most importantly, love yourself and love others. Peace. And that's it for That's That.